Belted Galloway cattle are bred to be robust, and they taste good, too.
I was born eating meat.
Hadley Gaylord raises 250 head of cattle on 600 acres in the Mad River Valley. Each year, he sends between 60 and 70 of these animals off to the slaughterhouse to be processed. The choicest cuts return and end up in the farm's freezer.
Big list of stuff in here: sirloin, steaks, short ribs, T-bones, porterhouse, tenderloin, roasts.
In 2007, the National Agricultural Statistics Service reported that there were 1,000 farmers raising beef in Vermont. The state's herd size numbers 9,000. The recent tide of consumer demand for locally raised food has in turn given rise to Vermont's beef industry.
In the last 12 years or 15 years, there's been more of a demand for animals like you see right here, right now, to be put on people's tables. People are a little more aware of what they're eating. I'd like to think that we're dealing with from beginning to the end, from conception to consumption. So we've got control of that animal from point A all the way to point Z. And I think that has a big play in our customer relations.
The Vermont beef industry is a three-legged stool made up of farmers, consumers, and processors. Currently, Vermont has 7 commercial processing facilities, with one more coming online in 2010. If Vermont's meat industry is going to grow, much of its success may lie in the hands of these processors.
I'm third generation. We've been here for close to 100 years.
Tony Bro owns and operates Bro's Market and Slaughterhouse in Troy. Over the course of the year, the 8 full-time employees at Bro's will process 600 beef cattle, 600 lambs, and 1,200 pigs.
Meat don't come from the showcase in the supermarket. You know, it's got to be done at a facility where it's humanely and cleanly and done right. So, I mean, that's the way I was born and brought up in it. And for me to go out and do it a different way or whatever, it wouldn't be right. I don't think I could get used to that.
Animal processing falls into 2 categories: commercial and custom. The difference being if the meat is inspected. Custom processed meats are not inspected and are only for personal consumption. Custom processed meats cannot be sold to the public. Commercially processed meat is inspected by the Vermont Agency of Agriculture, Food, and Markets. An inspector oversees the operation before, during, and after processing. All commercially processed meat receives a USDA or Vermont Department of Agriculture stamp. To be sold in Vermont, meat must be processed commercially.
Morning, meat inspection.
Randy Quinville heads the Vermont Meat Inspection Service.
Good, good.
I always say that inspection to the plant is kind of like free quality control. So it's just another set of eyes that are checking and looking for different things. When you're in business, you're concerned about, yes, you want to put out a good product, but you're also concerned about efficiency and production. So your focus isn't necessarily on all of the things that could affect it as a food product. So having the inspector there basically assures the plant owners as well as the public that someone is watching out for their best interest.
Processors are what make meat a value-added product. Farmers gain 20 to 30% more, depending on the cut, for locally processed beef versus selling an animal live at auction. The survival of Vermont's beef industry depends on the farmer, as well as the inspector and the processor.
If it wasn't here, probably people would have to travel a long ways away to get their product processed. You know, the value added would be gone because of the travel. You know, it wouldn't be affordable for people to be able to swing their farm.
I think that the drive from people looking for local food is driving the beef industry. There's definitely more demand than there is supply. But as more farmers diversify and get into raising more beef cattle, then I think that it's going to be able to supply the demand here in Vermont. The more that the farmers realize how important inspection is to their market, the more they support the slaughter industry, which then supports the local industry, and so on and so forth.
There's a beginning and the end to it. The beginning happens almost every spring when a newborn calf hits the ground. To me, that's like, positive energy, new life. It's a great experience, especially when it goes well. Part of the joy to this also is sitting down to eating a very good steak or a hamburger at dinner time. I think that's sort of the beginning and the end.
It's ironic that slaughterhouses and meat processing don't make for pleasant dinner-time conversation. Because, in the end, what Vermont's beef industry comes down to is what's for dinner. In Waitsfield, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.